So today I'm going to answer or do two questions from two viewers. The first viewer asked me if I could continue this drawing. This is a drawing from Lost Ocean, and last year I did a little bit of coloring with a different approach. I first put in layers of shadow and then I started adding color on top of that. So I'm going to continue doing that. And there is another question from someone who was wondering what happens if you use Caran Pablo pencils as a base and then put Polychromos pencils on top of them. My instinct tells me that that is not going to be working, but since I haven't tried it, not with this intention of testing it, I'm going to test it. It has happened before that people suggested things or they sent me stuff that I would have never bought myself or I would never done myself, and then it turned out to be just wonderful. So I'll just have to give it a go. Now I'm going to start with a Pablo pencil, ultramarine. And I'm going to start here in the inside of this tower, I think. So I'm going to use the Pablo as a first layer. And I think I need to sharpen it. I've been doing a lot of gardening lately. I put teeny tiny plants and flowers in the containers, the pots, and they are now growing, and when they are a little bit larger than they are right now, I will show you. The roses started blooming. We have yellow roses and red roses blooming. We also have pink ones, but they are they need a couple more days before starting to bloom. There are also a couple of casualties in the garden. Here is ultramarine from Polychromos. Let's add that on top of this. I have to sharpen this one too. It's not that dull, or blunt, but I need a little more detail. And I'm using this pencil in a different direction. The Pablos I did like this, now I'm cross hatching. And that way it's easier for the pigment to reach all the crevices in the paper. So yeah, we had a couple of casualties in the garden. I was very proud of my antherinum flowers and plants. In Dutch we call them leeuwenbekje, lion's beak, the lion's mouth. And I've shown you that I think last year there is somewhere in a video where I show you these plants as a signal that there is climate change going on, because normally these plants do not grow. They do not survive winter here in the Netherlands. But for the last couple of years, they survived. But last winter, it was cold. So a couple of them, they now died. 2 of them survived, but they are damaged. So I hope they will be able to recover, because I love these plants. And some of you have already written the English name for antherinum, leeuwenbekje, but I can't remember anymore, so I believe the plant originates from Africa, maybe South Africa. Anyway, it's yeah. And I also did some cleaning in the pond. We have a little pond with beautiful water lilies. But one of the plants started floating completely, with the root system visible. So I'm not sure what's actually going on there. I need to investigate. I think I need to take that plant out. Now, I have to say, the suggestion of that viewer, using Caran Pablo first and then adding Faber Castell Polychromos on top of it, so far so good. I want to make this inside look very dark, and this is my Polychromos Payne's Grey. I don't want to go in with, don't want to use black immediately. I'm going to use black eventually, but I want to create some depth, and I've learned, for me, the best way of creating depth is layering. Layering, 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 endless layers. So yeah, I've been working in my garden, and it is the month of May right now. I love that time of year, and I'm looking forward to summertime. We have planned a trip to the mountains, the Alps, the Swiss Alps, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also longing for a little bit of hiking through the woods, so I hope that it won't last very long before we can go to the woods, to the Veluwe again. But there's a problem. I love walking through the woods, and so does my husband, but we both have an allergy for, for a lot of things, but hay fever is one of them, and in my case it is just a little bit of sneezing and stuff. But sometimes my husband has more problems, so when that happens, walking through the woods is not so nice. This is reddish orange Pablo. So I thought maybe it's a better idea to do some, to go to the beach, do some walking and hiking over there. There is a chopper in the air. Most of the time when a helicopter over here is flying so low, then it is the trauma chopper, and it sounds like it's about to land. So that helicopter landed. I saw it landing behind the trees here, but I couldn't show you on the video. So I walked out outside, and it landed very close to our home, and there was an ambulance. You know, the car, a police car, and that trauma helicopter. And other than that, there was nothing to be seen. So it turned out that the patient was already in the ambulance, and it looked like the medical staff of that ambulance needed assistant from a trauma physician. So that guy or woman, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, was flown in, and then after a while the ambulance left, and hopefully it's a good sign that the patient didn't have to be moved with the helicopter. So I recorded the helicopter leaving, so if you like, you can watch that right now. The area where the helicopter landed is called the Zandelingen. That is a recreational area. And I'd like to show some footage the next couple of months of that area, because there are a lot of wildflowers in summertime, and I'd like to show you that. There are a couple of wildflowers right now, but not so much yet. So I'll wait a couple of weeks and then I'll see if there is a little more that I can show you. So let's pick Polychromos, burnt ochre. We hear trauma helicopters flying quite a lot, but fortunately they don't land here that often. If a trauma helicopter lands, then that's not a good sign. But in this case, it looked that eventually the patient was stable, and well, let's hope for the best for this person. Last year, when we were on vacation in Switzerland, rescue helicopters kept coming in. There was but with a different purpose. There was a Klettersteig, and that is a climbing area where you have to hook yourself up on a cable for safety, and then you can climb ladders and ridges and, well, very steep paths in the mountains. But it looked like many tourists who decided to do that Klettersteig got into trouble and had to be taken out by a helicopter, because it is a cliff there. There are very high cliffs. So you know, if you hurt your hand, or you hurt your ankle or your knee or whatever, you cannot go on. You're not severely hurt, but you cannot go on. So you have to be rescued by a helicopter. And that particular day, several people were rescued from the helicopter, with a helicopter. Dark chrome yellow. And that was quite spectacular, because it's not like you, the helicopter lands on top of the cliff and you can walk toward the helicopter and they put you inside. No, you are somewhere on the ridges of that cliff. The helicopter cannot land at all. They throw a rope with a rescue person. He will hook you up to the rope that is attached to the helicopter, and then the two of you will be flying underneath the helicopter into the valley, and then those persons would land just a couple of meters in front of our apartment, so we had a good view of how spectacular that was. None of those people were seriously hurt, so that's a good thing. I have to say, person who suggested to put Pablo first and Polychromos on top of it, I like it. I really like it. Thank you for that suggestion. So this is evidence that it's worth trying new things. Let's work on that roof a little bit. Here I have night blue, very dark color, but just a teeny tiny touch. I really like this. So now there's a problem. I only have a set of 40 of these beautiful Pablo pencils. So maybe I should go to the shop and buy a couple more. Jade green. And here I have spruce green. Colored pencil continue to fascinate me. I just can't get enough of it. Sometimes I pause a while using something else, using watercolor, but I always come back to colored pencil. It's really I just love it. Let's add a touch of vermilion over here. Now we'll slightly make things darker with scarlet. This is all Pablo. Pablo has, as far as I know, has 120 pencils, colors. And here I have dark red, Polychromos, dark red. And here I have pale geranium lake, also Polychromos. I'm thinking about a project for summer holidays, a color along for colored pencil. Trying to work things out a little bit now, and hopefully I can do a nice little color along, something like I did on Christmas last year. with the watercolor along with the Christmas wreath. And this time I would like to do something with colored pencil. So let's see if I can add a little more color to this tiny little building. Light olive, also Pablo. Starting out here with a light touch, very light touch. Now let's pick a nice Polychromos yellow, light cadmium yellow, cadmium gelb hell. I really need to, I want to improve my German a little bit more. But I think the only way to do that is to start speaking German, I think. Because when you force yourself to speak a language, then you will, at least that is how it works with me. I really have to speak the language to improve myself. And I don't think that's going to happen so often. But you never know. I could record a coloring video auf Deutsch. That's going to generate a lot of laughter, I think. But well, who knows, just for fun, trying to speak German. Here I have a beautiful Pablo indigo blue. There's a new book coming. Joanna Besford is launching a new book, World of Flowers. It looks like, I've seen a couple of pictures and it looks like it's going to be a very beautiful and joyful book to color. I have to say, coloring flowers and nature is what I love most. The first book, Secret Garden, I loved her drawings of gardens with the little sheds and the doors and the flowers, and yeah, it's just great. There were trees also. That book taught me about layering and shading and Just it ignited my passion for pencils, so to speak. That has always been there. I've always loved colored pencils. But that book, I took it with me everywhere. I colored everywhere, every day. And it taught me so much. And now I have shelves full of coloring books. I have so many that I think I will have to live up to 120 to color everything. I like this. Well, as you can see, I think you can see, this little house looks very flat compared to the other ones, and that has everything to do with these round shapes having shadow. And over here I started coloring with the idea that this is a square, not a round shape. And looking at it right now, I think no, that's not good. Let's add a little bit of shading there. Blue jeans, just a touch of it, just on top of it. So now I'm doing the other way around, because here I started with the blue shadows. This does mean that these windows are, well, if I had to build the windows would be a technical problem. But I'm not into construction anymore. Ultramarine. I think if I add a darker tone inside these round windows, grayish black, also Pablo, and a touch of blue. I'm using different types of blue. Oh, this is not blue, this is violet. Well, why not? And a touch of blue. Ultramarine. I have to say, those dark windows here looks a bit strange. Well, let's just leave it there and we'll see what happens. Maybe I can fix it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have to say, starting out with Pablo and then layering Polychromos on top of it, so far it works very well. I like it so. Thank you for suggesting that. And well, see you in the next episode. Bye bye.